Well, hi folks, it's Kim Willis here, and welcome to the first session, the first little training for the Brand Building Challenge. Yes, I'm looking forward to this. It's one of my favourite topics, and you'll see, as you can see there, the kickoff topic is, or the kickoff lesson, is focused on content. Content. Posting for profit. Posting for profit. And creating effective text-based content that is designed to improve your personal brand, your credibility, your authority, all good stuff. And of course, that will then feed into your business building side of things, generating leads, okay, and converting it. It's easy to generate leads, it's easy to convert them into sales if you have a well-sorted and respected personal brand. All right, and of course that's me. So the topics: why words are important, potent words to use, how to use words to educate, how to use words to boost your credibility. Yeah, words, the effective use of words, the right words, can move people to do things that they wouldn't ordinarily do. That is a fact. That is a fact. And of course, words are used in text-based form, video, audio, face-to-face, telephone. What else is there? Okay, so let's look at these some of these words, or some of the look at the basic philosophy and idea behind the effective usage of words. Why words are important. Words are important because when used correctly, they can change the direction of a person's life. Or to put it another way, they can influence someone to make a decision that they otherwise would not have made. When you know how to use words in a potent way, it is important that you use your newfound power ethically. Here's another one. I read in a book once that a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. But I've never been able to believe it. I don't believe a rose would be as nice if it was called a thistle or a skunk cabbage. I love that. That's from the book Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. That's a beautiful piece of writing there. Words are like eggs dropped from great heights. You can no more call them back than ignore the mess they leave when they fall. Jodi Picoult. It's also a very powerful statement, isn't it? Words are like eggs dropped from great heights. Without knowing the force of words, it is impossible to know more. Confucius say. This one from Diane Setterfield. There is something about words. In expert hands manipulated deftly, they take you prisoner, wind themselves around your limbs like spider silk, and when you are so enthralled you cannot move, they pierce your skin, enter your blood, numb your thoughts. Inside you they work their magic. They get at us, don't they? They get at us. They gnaw away. They do. This is from C.S. Lewis. You've no doubt heard of him. Don't use words too big for the subject. Don't say infinitely when you mean very. Otherwise you'll have no word left when you want to talk about something really infinite or important, I could add. This is a vital point. In fact, it's quite timely for me, because as I record this mini lesson, I'm reminded of an article that I read in a newspaper only yesterday. And this was an article written by a professor of paleontology or something like that. I was reading about the history of a certain aspect of history in this country called Cambodia, and I found his essay, his article, heavy going. Not because the subject matter wasn't interesting for somebody like me, it was, but because it was so badly written. And why was it badly written? Because he didn't write. Even though this was in a newspaper that is sold on newsstands, he didn't write for the common man. He wrote with the pen of an elitist. So he used larger words than he needed to use. He used them too often. He'd cram many of these words into a sentence or a paragraph, when simpler, more potent words could easily have been used. But basically he wanted to rub it into the reader that he is the noted authority, he is the expert, he is the professor. But did he delight his reader? No, he didn't. He didn't. And that kind of elitist writing is not what you want to be using or doing, even if you have a significant vocabulary, if you're one of the lucky few. Gary Chapman, in his book Love as a Way of Life, uses the vivid metaphor for words as being either bullets or seeds. If we use our words as bullets with a feeling of superiority and condemnation, we're not going to be able to restore a relationship to love. If we use our words as seeds with a feeling of supportiveness and sincere goodwill, we can rebuild a relationship in positive and life-affirming ways. So there you have it. I want to turn you on, before we move to part 2, I want to turn you on to writing. Now, you may love to do videos. You may love recording videos, and that's great. I enjoy that as well. But there is still a place for the written word, and I think it's a big place. I really do. And people can scan the written word and decide whether it's good enough for them to read, whether it's of interest to them. They can't do that with a video. They really have to watch the whole thing. So we have, those of us who use the written word have an advantage. We have an inbuilt advantage with the written word, because it's more likely that more people will at least see some of the content that we're creating, and they'll devour it if it's good. Yeah. So I want to turn you on to this topic. I really do, and I hope I achieve my objective, at least with a percentage of people who watch this lesson. And if I can turn you on to it and get you excited about it so that you embrace it, well, that's fantastic, because you are going to become a better marketer. You are. Now, we're not talking about winning the Pulitzer Prize or anything like that. We're talking about creating written word content that has the power or the potential to move people to do something. And if we're talking about authority building content, brand building content, we're wanting them to form a favourable impression of you, aren't we? And if you have a call to action at the end of your piece, well, you're wanting them to take action, which could in turn produce a lead. You don't have to always do that when you're writing authority boosting content, but you can do it. You kill two birds with one stone. So if we're using words to build our brand and to get people to take action, these are some of the words that you might want to use. Even if you're not wanting them to take action, these are some of the words that really resonate with people. But I'm wearing my copywriter's hat now, my sales copywriting hat now, and saying, well, look, here are the words that people use, that good copywriters use, to not force, but to encourage someone to take action. Feel, want, free. That's a big one, isn't it? Why? New. People love new. How to. Lists. Use lists. How to achieve this objective without the downside. And whatever the downside is, fill in the space, right? How to achieve blah, blah, blah without blah, 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 okay? How-tos work well. Profit, always a big motivator. Money, because, secret, it's a secret. Curiosity kills the cat. People are going to want to know what it is. What is your secret? And tell us. Guarantee, results, health, happiness, love, bargain. People love a bargain, don't they? And hurry. Where to use these words? Headlines, subheadlines, bullet points, subject lines, you name it. Now, this is not the definitive list. I've just extracted a few of these ideas from one from my, I think it's from my SOS course. And if you get involved with me, you will have access to that SOS course, and you'll be able to go into this topic in more depth. Potent use of words, good and better. How to make great money per sale. The key to making $1,000, $3,000 and $5,000 per sale. That is better. The one on the left is good. Better is the one on the right. Why? Because we're using specifics. Specifics will always outsell generalities. Not all money schemes work. Better is what they don't tell you about make money schemes. That's better. How I made money fast. Confessions of an overnight success. Now, at this point, you might be saying, well, what's this got to do with brand building? Seems like it's sales copy. They go hand in hand. Sometimes they go hand in hand. Other times they don't. Other times you're just going to take a pure educational approach. You're just going to educate people about a particular little mini topic, okay? And that automatically bestows authority onto your shoulders. But we can do both. We can combine content that will build our brand, whilst at the same time stimulate people to perhaps become a lead or do business with us. How I made money fast versus confessions. That's a potent word, isn't it? Confessions of an overnight success. I think I could create a great piece of authority building content around that headline. Confessions of an overnight success. What about you? Helpful video for you, or I just recorded a life-changing video for a few lucky people. Do you think just the headline alone would improve your authority, build your brand? Absolutely. No question about it. Easy money formula versus so simple even a kid can do it. See, it's more evocative, isn't it? It conjures in people's brains a kid doing something that's so damn easy. It's very easy because this little kid can do it. They can see it in their mind's eye. They can picture it. Part 3, how to use words to educate. Copy should be non-promotional. This is the other type of content you can create. Understand the concept of educate, don't sell. There's a time to sell, there's a time to educate. Strike a happy balance between the two and the two types of content. Effective education automatically sells people. They buy into it because you're educating them. And as you educate them, you excite them at the same time. Because they can see the possibilities in their mind's eye. You can educate about a product, a biz-op, or your value and competence. Competence. That's important, isn't it? It's important to demonstrate competence. People say, okay, well, how can I demonstrate competence? I'm a newbie. I'm a new internet marketer. I'm a network marketer. I'm selling a business opportunity or something like that. How can I demonstrate competence? Well, maybe you can't in the early stages if you're in that kind of a business, right? If you're promoting that kind of thing. Maybe you can't, but I'll tell you what you can demonstrate. Value. You can demonstrate value. Because everyone brings value to the table. And if you don't believe that, well, you're going to have to go away and figure out what it is that makes you special. Because you have value. You have a story. You have a hero's journey. You've got something about you that is special, unique, and probably potent. Probably. What is it? No, maybe it's an attitude. Maybe it's a belief system. Maybe it's a certain knowing. Maybe it's a confidence, a quiet confidence that you have. Maybe something that you've done in the past where you overcame adversity. You've had trials and tribulations and then you ultimately triumphed. You beat that sucker. All right? You kick that sucker to the curb. That's what you bring to the table. You bring that to the table. And that's the thing that you should be sharing with people. An education-first strategy establishes trust and authority far more effectively far more effectively than straight sales copy. So even when I write sales copy, say let's say it's for my email or something like that, I'm wanting to send out an email to my list, I will usually educate them first. I just don't go into straight pitch mode. I want to educate them. I want to bring them along on the journey with me. Are you doing that? Think about it. The best place to promote an offer at the end of the educational video, blog post or webinar. But there are lots of other places besides. But I'm just giving you some ideas here. You can do it in your Facebook group if you've got one. You could do it. You could do it on your personal profile. You can do it on a business Facebook business page. You can do it on Twitter. You can do it. You know, there's all sorts. There's a myriad of different ways. We're not going to talk about that because that's not what this is about. Point 4. How to use words to boost your authority. Words to use. Use words like trust, safe, proof, evidence, case history, results, credibility, reality. Educational style content will automatically boost your credibility. It just happens as sure as night follows day. Sharing other people's quality content will boost your credibility as well. It doesn't have to always revolve around you. You share someone's comment or you share someone's piece of content. I do this quite a lot on Twitter. Okay? You share someone's quality content, add a comment of your own, and then you'll take ownership of that piece of content. So credibility will then flow to you. And you're giving value to someone else as well. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Or write a profile about you. Voice it in your own words, but write it in a way that conveys a benefit to the reader. Use it to establish you as someone worth doing business with. Now, I've got a course called the Tribe Builder course, and for the first couple of lessons, we're just talking about the hero's journey, developing your personal narrative, which we call the hero's journey. It's a wonderful exercise to perform. It really is. It's fantastic. It will help you get very clear about your value, your specialness. It will help you get very clear about that. And you will then be able to infuse your discoveries into your content. You will. Or even when you're dialoguing with somebody on the telephone or on, on Facebook Messenger or something like that, you'll be able to draw on it. So if you don't get involved with my Tribe Builder course, no problem. Do your own research about the hero's journey and what it's all about and how it should be structured and so on, and go through it and do it yourself. Create your own hero's journey narrative. Copywriting rules to live by. Point 5. Break up the text. This stuff's, well, to me it's fairly basic, but I see these mistakes being made all the time. I see blocky text, just one giant paragraph of text. It's not the way to do it. You've got to break up the text. Lots of white space on the page. Use subheadings, indents and bullet points if it's longer copy. If it's just a paragraph of text, okay, that's different. But even then, I'll tend to break it up. If it's any more than, maybe 50 words or 40 words or something like that, I'll break it up into 2 paragraphs. What else have we got here? Keep paragraphs and sentences short, as stated. So even the sentences within the paragraph need to be shortened. Don't write these convoluted sentences that make your reader work harder than they ought to. The harder you're requiring them to work, the more likely it is they're just going to click off and you've lost them, maybe forever. Okay, so keep the sentences short, keep the paragraphs short. Remove words that are complicated, cold words, impersonal words, and pretentious words. Get rid of them. You don't need them. And your reader, above all, doesn't need them. It's not about you. It's about your audience. So forget about you. Put your feet into the shoes of your audience. Empathy. Okay? So there are words that convey more warmth than other words. Okay? Think about some of those words. And the word feel is a warm word, isn't it? Think about that. Think about using words like that. Feeling type words, including the word feel. Other types of words that convey warmth. Use them in preference to the alternative. Remove words that don't add value to the content. Yes. Superfluous words, get rid of them. Sometimes, quite often actually, when I'm writing copy, I will, and by the way, I'm not claiming to be the world's best copywriter. I put out junk content sometimes as well. Sometimes because I'm in a hurry, I'm under pressure, I just want to get this thing done, and I don't do what I should do. And what I should have done is let it sit there for an hour or two and come back to it. What I find is that invariably, when I come back to it, the same day or the next day even, I'll see all sorts of glaring errors. I know this is the case because sometimes I've gone through some of my content that I wrote 6 months ago or 3 months ago or 12 months ago. It could be a blog post, it could be a Facebook post, it could be something else. And I'll see all sorts of errors in it. Not spelling errors, because I usually check that, I use software to check that, but just errors, just functional errors, structural errors, perhaps grammatical errors, right? And I smack myself around the face. Why did I do that? Right? Well, at the time, I was in a hurry, and so the inferior copy gets published. Right? So I try as much as I can, but look, if you can just take a little bit of time and say, right, 3 or 4 mini posts, but don't publish them straight away. Just set them aside for a few hours and then come back to it. Or come back to it the next morning. You may find that you discover that you're shocked as to the inferior copy that you wrote, and you come up with a couple of new ideas to improve it, and your second version is way better. All right? So, authority building post ideas. Write a tip in your own words. Doesn't matter where you got the tip from. There's millions of tips. You get tips on this training alone. There's probably about 30 tips I've given you already, or at least by the time it's finished. Okay, so write them all down and then create your own version, and now you've got yourself a tip. Share someone else's post and add value to it. I mentioned that before, but yes, add value to it. Give an opinion. Say, hey, I really want to share this with you because this guy knows what he's talking about, or she knows what she's talking about, and here's why I really like it. And you just have one paragraph just saying blah blah, whatever the reason is that you like it, give it, and then publish it. Offer an opinion. Now, you can do it when you're sharing out someone else's post, but you can do it within your own post as well. Offer an opinion, but validate the opinion if it needs to be validated. Prove it. Why do you say this? Why are you saying this? Give people good logical reasons as well. We don't want our copy to be 100% emotive. We need to sometimes back it up with some objective information, so that people can say, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, what he's saying makes sense to me. So you just don't make a statement without perhaps demonstrating the logic of your proposition. Share a recent success, no matter how small. This always helps. And it doesn't have to be your success, by the way. Share other people's success. If you don't have your own success, if you're an affiliate, you can trade off your affiliate company's testimonials. You can use some of their testimonials. And you can create a mini post around some of these success stories. Works really well. And no matter how small, it doesn't have to be a big story. It doesn't have to be a big result. It could be just, something. If you're an internet marketer and you're selling training products, for instance, right? You don't have any success story yourself. Share someone else's. Success story may not be about how much money that you made or someone else made. It could be how many leads they generated in a day or a month or whatever. It could be something like that. Okay. Small stories work really well, by the way. as long as you learn how to package them up in a powerful way. Above all, be the source. You want to get to the point where you are the go-to person within your sphere of influence. And the more you can convey that idea to people, the more likely it is that you'll attract other people to your tribe, to your cult, to your list of followers. Okay? Okay, here's an example. 7 sales from just 12 Facebook chats. Okay, this is a success story that helps to stimulate leads, produce leads, whilst at the same time boosting my authority. Can you have gentle conversations on Facebook and make money? You betcha. I've been testing a new affiliate offer. Here are the results so far. I had chats with 12 people on Facebook. 7 paid money and signed up. Commissions, up to $500 per person. The point. No need to spam and pitch people. Just develop good relationships with good people and give them what they want. Ping me for the link for short overview video, then join my free Facebook group. There it is. That's an example of an authority building post and a lead generating post in one piece of content. You kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You like that idea? Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. All right? Did it work? Yeah. No question. No doubt about it. It worked extremely well. I can't... Look, I pulled this one out of the archives. It was 2 years ago. From memory, like 30 plus responses from it. On Facebook. It was probably more than that. I've used some of these ideas, and I've got myself 60, 70 and 80 responses and leads. Right? How to handle the haters. Laugh at them. Nothing pleases them. Nothing pees them off more than your mirth and merriment. If you're not into having fun at their expense, you could ignore them, of course. But where's the fun in that? This is just a little bit of nonsense, but in its own way, it builds a little bit of authority, whilst at the same time, hopefully, puts a smile on their face. And I had lots of comments. All helps. Awesome advice. Love them so much that you ignore them completely. I like to ignore them. I refuse to put fuel on any fire. Some good comments there. It stimulated people, draws them a little closer to me. Most people tiptoe through life to make it safely to death. Don't be that person. In its own way, that's a small piece of authority building content. And look how simple it is. 2 sentences, 2 small sentences. Here's another one. Hey folks, you don't need to pretend to people that you're a guru, an expert or a superstar. Don't do that. Instead, just be helpful. Pick up ideas from others and share them. The mere fact that you are bringing value to your followers is a virtue in itself. Importantly, you'll be assuming the role of a leader, and authority will flow to you. See? So what was I doing? I was writing about the topic of authority, and I became a bigger authority just by doing it. Why can't you do that? Why can't you? Why couldn't you use the top one there? Most people tiptoe through life to make it safely to death. Don't be that person. You establish your success. See, I'm giving an opinion here, aren't I? I mentioned that before. I'm giving an opinion. And people can't refute it. How can they refute it? They can't. It stacks up. So does the next one. It stacks up. This is simple stuff, folks. You've just got to make the shift mentally so that you can embrace it and make it yours. All right. Well, that's the end of the lesson. You will have your challenge assignment. I'm not going to mention it now. Just read the text that supports this video and you'll see what it is. This, by the way, is my membership, so I'm not sure whether this is appropriate showing you this, but that's it. So if you become involved with me, one of my little training products, you can, or one of my big training products, I don't mind. You can start small, work your way up. That's fine. But you will have access to my membership site, I Am for Fun, and this will give you the wherewithal to advance your knowledge, your skills, your competence, and your confidence. It's called I Am for Fun. You'll probably see it around from time to time. Team training for internet marketers. That's why I call it I Am. All right, that's the lesson. Go and do your homework now and then report it back. All right, this is Kim Willis. Bye for now.